The sky over the Zambezi had split open. Dark clouds grumbled across the African plains as the river swelled, thick with debris and rage. Weeks of rain had turned the banks into soft soup, swallowing trees, uprooting homes and cutting off entire villages. But amidst the fury of nature, something unexpected was happening, something that would reshape a man's life forever. Ethan Rivers had come to Zambia to disappear. Not literally, no, but emotionally, spiritually. After the death of his son, a drowning accident he couldn't prevent, Ethan walked through life like a man underwater, breathing, moving, but always submerged in guilt. Once a celebrated wildlife rescue volunteer and father of one, he now lived out of a truck, photographing animals for NGOs that didn't ask too many questions. The camera was his crutch. The bush was his hiding place. And that morning, standing ankle-deep on a flooded trail near the river, it should have been just another assignment. But fate, or maybe grief, was about to tug him back to the surface. That's when he heard it. A desperate bleating. High-pitched, wet, frantic. Ethan dropped to a crouch, scanning the river, and spotted something tumbling through the floodwater. A small body flailing in the current. At first he thought it was a dog. Then the rounded ears, the golden, dappled coat, and those wide, panicked eyes. A lion cub, no older than 4 months. It was drowning. He didn't think, didn't calculate, didn't weigh risk. Ethan bolted into the river. The current slammed into him like a freight train, nearly knocking the wind out of him. But he fought, gritting his teeth, arms slicing through the brown surge. Every heartbeat was a war drum. Every second the cub slipped farther away. Then his hand caught fur. The cub shrieked, claws latching onto Ethan's chest like hooks, and for one breathless moment, man and lion clung to each other in the middle of the raging flood. Ethan turned, using the last of his strength to swim back. Something slammed into his leg, a log, a rock, but he didn't let go. Gritting through the pain, he reached the muddy bank and collapsed on his knees, still cradling the soaked, shivering cub against his heart. Only then did he hear the low growls behind him. He looked up and froze. 6 lions. Lionesses, and behind them, a massive dark-maned male, eyes locked on him. His blood turned to ice. He was kneeling, injured, holding one of their young. He was as good as dead. But the pride didn't pounce. The matriarch stepped forward slowly, her movements graceful, deliberate. Her golden eyes flicked from the cub to Ethan's face, not with rage, but something else. Something ancient and knowing. And then she bowed. Ethan didn't understand it then. Maybe he still doesn't. But what followed was a gesture that defied everything science knew about predators. The lioness nuzzled the cub gently from his arms, then turned and brushed her massive head against Ethan's shoulder. One by one the others followed, nudging, sniffing, not attacking, thinking. He would never forget it. That night, Ethan slept near the firelight, staring into the dark as the cub's heartbeat still echoed in his arms. Years passed. The photo of the drenched man and the cub made global headlines. Documentaries aired. Experts speculated. Flood brother, they called it. But Ethan didn't care for fame. He didn't even return to the river. Instead, he moved to a quiet town near Lusaka, fixing cameras and living off what little money trickled from his old photos. He didn't return to rescue work. Didn't try to find the pride. Some wounds never truly heal, especially the ones that end with a son in a coffin. But one evening, everything changed. The sun was setting behind the trees when Ethan heard the frantic knock at his door. Ethan. It was Juma, a local ranger he sometimes helped with trail cameras. "There's a lion," he said breathlessly. "A massive one. It's stalking the village. Killed goats. People are scared." Ethan's heart sank. "Then shoot it." "We tried," Juma said. "But it doesn't attack. It just watches." That night, Ethan followed the ranger through the bush, armed only with a flashlight and the revolver Juma insisted he carry. They reached the edge of a clearing near the village barn. And there he was, a hulking shadow against the moonlight. A lion, enormous and scarred, with a dark mane and a half-healed slash over one eye. He didn't growl, didn't run, just stared. Something in Ethan's chest stilled. It was him, the cub. Older now, regal and terrifying, but familiar. His eyes still held that same intelligent fire. And then, as if to confirm it, the lion took a slow step forward. Juma raised his rifle. "Wait," Ethan whispered. The lion kept walking, closer now, eyes locked on Ethan. He was less than 10 feet away when he stopped, and sat. No threat, no roar, just presence. Ethan stepped forward too. "Why?" he whispered. "Why come here now?" The lion didn't answer, of course, but his gaze, soft, steady, unblinking, carried weight. And then Ethan understood. It wasn't a random appearance. It wasn't a hunt. It was a return. Over the weeks that followed, the lion returned again and again. Never during the day. Always at twilight. Sometimes alone, sometimes with tracks that suggested other lions watched from afar. And every time Ethan sat outside with him, he began to speak. Not loudly. Just fragments. Pieces of himself he hadn't shared in years. "I miss him, you know," he said one evening, voice cracking. "My boy. He loved animals too. Said lions were his favorite." The lion blinked slowly. "Another night. I blamed myself. Still do." The lion lay down, tail flicking once. No judgment. No answers. Just presence. And that was enough. Ethan started riding again. Started walking without the cane. One night he found himself laughing, really laughing, as he tossed a chunk of meat to the lion and watched him catch it midair. He didn't tell many people. The world wouldn't understand. But in the village, rumors grew. "He guards him," some said. "Came back to save the man who saved him. Simba's ghost," said the old women. "A protector sent by the ancestors." Ethan just called him brother. Then one night something shifted. Gunfire cracked through the forest. Poachers. Juma arrived at Ethan's doorstep, breathless. They shot at him. Trapped him near the gorge. Ethan's legs moved before his brain could. He grabbed the flashlight, ignored Juma's protests, and ran into the night. He found him bleeding near the rocks. The massive lion was lying on his side, one paw trembling, a dark stain spreading beneath him. His breathing was labored. "Hey, no, you don't get to leave me," Ethan whispered, dropping to his knees. "Not now." He ripped his shirt, pressing it against the wound. The lion growled weakly, but didn't move. "I've lost one brother already," Ethan said. "I'm not losing another." Juma radioed for help. Hours passed, but the lion held on. And when the sun rose over the ridge, casting golden light over the blood-stained earth, Ethan saw him stir, just slightly, and rest his massive head against Ethan's arm. He lived, and so did Ethan. Today, the story of the man and the lion is carved into wooden murals near the village market. Tourists whisper about the miracle. The lion, now too injured to hunt, stays close to the sanctuary built for him near Ethan's land. Children call him Thandai, beloved, but Ethan still calls him brother. And every evening, they sit together as the sun falls behind the trees. Two creatures from different worlds, bonded by a single defiant act of compassion in the muddy rush of a river. Because some scars never fully heal, but some bonds never fully break. And when grief meets love, when trauma meets trust, something holy can emerge in between. Something like a lion's silent promise to return.